Okay, so I just wanted to talk a little bit today about boundaries and how important this is when it comes to really getting what it is that you want. So, if you are wanting to expand in your business, if you're wanting it to improve your relationships, make more money, all of these things are very relevant when it comes to boundaries. And I would say that I have always considered myself somebody who had strong boundaries. But I've noticed as of late, as I've been going through kind of an internal up level and making a lot of improvements and updates in my business, as well as in my relationship with myself and with my husband, um, and just where maybe some of my boundaries were a little loose in terms of who I'm being, or if you don't like that term, like how I'm acting, how I'm showing up versus the version of me that is already where I want to be and how she would be showing up. And I just want to like preface by saying like you're always already that version of you. There's nothing wrong. So like I know there's nothing wrong with me, but I also know that there's a version of me who already has everything I want. Just like there's a version of you who literally has everything you want. And it's up to you whether or not you want to claim that, whether you want to be that version of yourself, right? And I think so many people want it, but they're not willing to look at themselves, look at their boundaries, look at the things that you're doing and how you're actually showing up in your life, your business, your relationships with money to understand what needs to actually shift. And, people think like, oh, I need to do more, or it's my mindset, or, um, oh, I need to have these really strict boundaries around, oh, I don't answer calls after 4 p.m. or on the weekends or whatever. And I'm not saying that those are bad. But it's like we put up these stringent boundaries, I think, sometimes thinking like that's the thing. But it's the little sneaky things as you're really like this is really, for those of you who have done a lot of personal development and growth work potentially already, and even if you haven't, that's fine. But it's when you get to like a certain level of expansion, of growth, of this, personal development journey that you start to have the more nuanced things that are smaller and sneakier and you may not recognize them. So the reason I'm recording this is because today I had an experience and I had a meeting scheduled with somebody, and this person, very like wonderful woman. I think she's very nice. We've met before several times, and she's been in my world for a while. And we had like call our meeting last year, several months ago at this point, and the first time we were kind of scheduled. She kind of no-showed for that call. And then we ended up rescheduling. It was fine, and we had a great conversation and all of that. And then, like, fast forward a few months, she had reached out to me and said, "Hey, I would really love to reach out and connect with, or I would really like to connect with you again, and like just talk about some of the things that are going on and like some business stuff." And I said, "Awesome, great," because of course I, want to have those connections with people, um, and I want to be able to support you in your growth. And if you're, of course, especially interested in working with me because I want to be able to support people. Uh, and then yeah, anyway, it had worked out. And basically, this person had canceled on me a couple times, canceled or no showed. So I was, in a position where it was happening again. And she had invited me to a call to, talk a little bit more, wanting to work together, etc. And I, this reminded me of some of the early days of my business, to be honest. And my first gut instinct was, well, no, like, is this really is this the person that, is right for your work right now, or someone that you would potentially collaborate with right now? And the answer to both of those was no. And that was hard for me to swallow because I really like this person. So thinking back to like early on in my business is I, the early days of my business, and I see this, in many people, I would say yes to everything, right? Yes to every client, yes to every call. And oftentimes those clients ended up being misaligned because I was just doing it for the money or to feel needed. That's a big thing for a lot of people in this, personal development world, especially, but not even just that, you say yes to clients, to jobs, to opportunities because you think that that's all that's available to you. And it really is tied to scarcity patterns. But that's another video. So I where was I going with that? Anyway, so ultimately, the point of this story is that I decided to say yes anyway, even though it was going against my gut instinct. And then she ended up reaching out and saying, actually, hey, I got this, that, or the other thing going on. Can we reschedule again or something? And I was just like, I sat with it. And I'm like, the nice girl, the good girl, the people pleaser in me really wanted to say, yes, sure, of course, no problem. Because I understand that life happens, things come up, and you can't always control it. But then I reminded myself, I'm just like, but how many times am I going to continue to put myself out there for things like this and to not hold that boundary and not like have respect for my own time? How do I expect other people to respect my time if I'm not respecting it myself? And I had made an exception to do this like outside of my normal hours, that I put myself out there for business to take time away from, things that I was planning to do with my husband. And I had to really get real with myself. I'm like, that's me having leaky boundaries, not, being the version of myself, not being the 5D version of myself, not being in my highest timeline, and not acting as the person that I would be acting as if I already had expanded, if I already was where I wanted to be. And this is such a pattern for so many people, the people pleaser, the, thinking you have to say yes to things that you really don't necessarily want to do, or saying yes to clients that you don't want to say yes to because you don't think there's maybe something better out there for you, or you're afraid if you don't say yes to things, people won't like you, or that opportunities won't keep coming, or you'll lose out on money. But the truth is the real flex isn't about saying yes to everything and being everything to everybody. The real flex is actually holding your boundaries when you don't know how it's going to go, when you realize, like, well, that might not turn out great, or she might be pissed off, or she might not buy from me in the future. But at the same time, like being the nice girl, being the good girl, being there to like help everybody else and just like let them walk on you, that's not the highest version of yourself. And if you're allowing those things to happen and you're saying, well, I want to have more clients, I want to have more money, I want to improve my relationship, because these are related. Like how you hold yourself and you hold your boundaries in one area of your life is absolutely a reflection of other things in your life. And I could go deep into that too, but I have to get going here. So anyway, the point of this was to just share this story with you, because so often we miss just these little nuanced things that are happening. And, oftentimes you think like there's so much more I need to do to grow, or there's so many things that, that you're looking at big picture that you think you need to change in order to completely shift your paradigm to leap into that next level version of yourself. And it doesn't have to be like that. Honestly, it doesn't have to be like that. It can be so much easier. But the reason that it's hard, the reason that that things don't go the way you want, or that you have to work so much harder to get things, is because you're not actually being the version of yourself that has the life, that has the reality that you already desire, or that you truly desire. And if you're not acting as that version of you now, it doesn't just suddenly magically change. You can't become your next level self if you're still holding on to the old version. Like, period, full stop. So I would encourage you to look at your own life. Where are you showing up in that leaky energy? Where are you not holding your boundaries? Where are you collapsing because you think that there's not something better out there for you, that you're not good enough, that it's not going to work? Where are you holding on to something out of fear or scarcity? And what would fucking change if you just said no? You drew the line in the sand and you said, it's no longer going to be like this. I'm no longer available for that. What would change? Think about that. And if that's resonating for you, I really, really would love to invite you to join me in, well, first of all, you can just join me inside the free Unfiltered Collective community. And there should be a link for that. Right now, I'm actually running my free immersion, The Edge. I will be running it again in April of 2026. So if this is resonating for you and you want to sign up, there should be a link available in the Linktree link if it is open for enrollment. Otherwise, I have the Leap coming up, which is going to be an amazing program to help you step into that next level version and to help you through that integration of actually leaping into that next level version of yourself. And I also have some deeper work in terms of masterminds, retreats, and one-on-one. So if that's resonating for you at a deeper level, you can use the message or the link for my Facebook, send me a message over there, and we can have a conversation about how I can support you deeper and what would be the best spot for you to go. So anyway, please subscribe to the channel, like the video if it resonated with you, and I will see you, well, wherever you decide to join me or in the next video. Have a great day.